Alma. It's beautiful to be here in Shanghai, and I am really delighted and honored by my honored invitees, the hosts, who are trying to bring us into the future. I agree with Mr. Lee's vision, and I want to talk a little bit more about what's happening today. I apologize that I have to speak in English, but I know that you have the opportunity to hear the translation. So, we want to talk about what's coming, what's next. And I want to emphasize that the experts in AI don't know. We don't know whether AGI is even possible. We don't know that. We don't know if it's going to be centralized or whether most of it's going to happen in little tiny brains. We don't know whether people will lose jobs or not. We don't know whether it's going to be open sourced or closed source. We have lots of ideas, but we actually don't know. And that is the jagged front of AI, meaning that some areas we're going to move faster and some are going to move slower. And I think the uncertainty about this is not going to be solved next year. It's not going to be solved in 2 years. It's not going to be solved probably in 5 years. These questions we're still going to have in 5 years from now. So we have to get really good with uncertainty. And that uncertainty is actually opportunity. So the things I'm going to be describing are uncertain, but they're also tremendous opportunities for the people here to make something new that hasn't been made before. And I see 3 general frontiers of opportunity and uncertainty coming in the next 5 years or so. Robots, which you know a little bit about, emotions, and the agentic world. So robots, I want to emphasize, a humanoid robot will be the most complex thing we have ever made. It is the most complicated thing outside of ourselves on this world, in this planet. It is so complicated to make that it will require the geniuses of thousands of people to figure out. Because it's not only does it have an AI inside it, which is the most complicated thing that we have, it has all these other parts. And there's software, the AI, but there's the hardware, and there's the energy. And these are 3 extremely difficult and challenging things to compress into something this size. And so the achievement of making a humanoid robot that's surrounding in our home or in our classroom is going to be the most difficult thing we've ever done as humans. We're just beginning to do it. The thing about LLMs and AIs is that that's just one kind of cognition that we do in our brain. It's just one part of it. So the AI that we have made so far is just one type of a very complicated compound of thinking in our brains. It's not even the major type. And so one of the things about the LLMs today is that they don't learn and that they don't have a very long memory. And those are essential things that we want in something that's going to work with us, something that gets better, something that can learn and adapt. And so we need other kinds of AI other than just LLMs. They are powerful, they're not going to go away, we can do so many things with them, but we need other kinds of cognition in addition to that. So that's a huge opportunity for people to invent and devise and create other kinds of thinking besides the LLMs, which will take us further than we think, but not all the way. Because the thing about the LLMs is that they're basically trained on knowledge and text and words about the world, but they're not actually trained on the world. And so what we want to have is we want to have something that's just not knowledge smart, but actually world smart. something that can actually operate in 3 dimensions, that can walk around an object and know that it's in front, that has a volumetric idea of the real world. And that world knowledge is something that a lot of laboratories in China are working on, but it's a frontier. We don't know how it works. So instead of being trained on text, you want to be trained on reality. You want to know how things actually bounce or how liquids flow. And that is the world model. Instead of having a large language model, you want to have a large physics model, a large chemistry model, a large biological model. And that's what's beginning to brew. That's the frontier that's offering lots of opportunity. It's sometimes called spatial AI. Sometimes it's called spatial intelligence, or a world model, or embedded AI. These are all the same things. It's putting the abstractness and knowledge into a physical object that exists in 3 dimensions. So that's the challenge. And robots need that kind of intelligence. They need more than just words. They need more than just language. It's important, but they need more. And so the robotic division, where we're going, is going to require this kind of spatial intelligence. And it needs to be really small. It needs to fit inside a phone or a little robot. And that's another huge challenge, but that's an opportunity as well. Hands are one of the most complex devices that we have, and it is going to be extremely difficult to make anything like a human hand. And so that's another sign of the kind of the engineering challenge that we have ahead of us in making not just grippers, but actually fingers and things that are sensitive to temperature as well as pressure. It's an incredibly huge challenge, and it's going to be employing many, many engineers to figure that out, and AI as well. And then the third one that you need for a robot is energy. And again, we have lots of advances, but we have to remember that the humanoid, that we're incredibly, as biological beings, efficient. So humans are only, our supercomputer is only 25 watts. Our bodies are only 300 watts, a couple hundred watts at the most. And we can run for 12 hours. That's really very far from what humanoid robots can do. I mean, they're only halfway at the most. And so it's a really big engineering challenge ahead of us to make a humanoid robot. And the thing about them is that we are demanding that they be 99.999% reliable. If they're going to be around us, holding our loved ones, interacting with us, being around us, we require them to be incredibly reliable. And they aren't so far. This is what we call the March of Nines. Every time you add another 9, from 99% to 99.9% to 99.999, when you add a 9, each additional 9 is as much work as the previous 9. So it's not like it's getting easier, it's actually getting more difficult as you add precision and reliability. The most robotic factory in the world is only 91% of the tasks are automated. So we still have a long way to go. But we have lots of kind of robots that are machine tractors. This is a lettuce bot that goes down. Precision agriculture, it's creating a kind of agriculture where it can pay attention to every single individual lettuce plant, giving unique water and amount of fertilizer for each individual plant. Something that a farmer, human farmer, would love to do but cannot. And that kind of precision agriculture in robotic world is possible now because it's not trying to be a humanoid robot. It's a huge tractor. And that's much more achievable. And we have, milking machines, other robots as well, and they will get even better because of AI. But in San Francisco, we have a paragon of robotics, which is the self-driving car. And even that is only 99.9% complete, because there is still a 0.001% of the time when a human in a faraway place is watching over and will take over when the car gets stuck. Getting rid of that last human, that 0.01%, is going to take as much time, energy, and money as the previous 4 nines. So I'm just saying that a humanoid robot is the most complicated thing in the world, and I think it's going to take another 10 years before we see them. And by the way, it's not my opinion only, it's the prediction markets are also gauging it. It's a huge thing to make the most complicated machine that ever was built. So I wanted to then talk about emotions, adding emotions. That's going to be the big surprise, is we're going to add emotions into the AIs as a next step. Emotions are human scale. The reason why we're giving them is because we like and we can understand that. We don't have to be trained about what emotions are. Right now, the AIs, if you give them a camera, like Honor does, they can tell whether you're happy, whether you're surprised, whether you're afraid, and they are going to be able to respond to that. And you can imagine an AI teddy bear that a kid might have and might understand that the kid is sad and wants to talk to it. That's very, very doable. And imagine if your pet, dog or cat, could actually talk to you. How incredible that would be. And that's sort of where we are. And I think we're going to be shocked by how much of a human bond that we're going to have with these AIs that have, or robots that have emotions. And so the relationship that we have are going to be very, very real relationships, even though they are with artificial things. It's a real relationship. Last one I want to talk about is agents. You hear a lot about agents. We'll have a personal agent, and that agent will deal with other agents below that we won't ever see, but the one that we have on us will be always on. That's the important thing. They're always on. And maybe they're in glasses, maybe they're in something that you hold in your hand, but that always onness is very, very important, because over time, these agents will begin to understand you and know you better than you know yourself. And I call that the exoself. It's not someone else, it's not you, it's something so close to you that's almost like yourself, or we call an exoself. That exoself is an agent. And we'll have a whole economy of these AI agents that are talking to each other and giving tasks and getting things done. But also, they're going to be an economy where they're going to be paying for jobs and giving credit. And that is finally a job for crypto. I think there's stable coins that can actually have a real job other than speculation, where they can serve as money for bots. Okay? And there's a number of initiatives, including Stripe's Tempo, where this is actually being tried out. And once we have agents working for us, we have lots of new questions that we have to answer, like who owns the agent? Who do they really work for? Is it the company that made them? Is it us? Is it somebody else? And the most importantly, we have a whole new opportunity. We have the need to make trust. How does my agent trust your agent or another agent that's strange to us and not be scammed? So we have a whole opportunity of making new technology for trust. And this is going to be essential to have this kind of agency work. So those are some of the critical uncertainties and opportunities in robotics, making emotions into the AIs and robots, generating an agentic world. And I want to emphasize that there are no AI experts as we view them from, say, 10 years from now. We'll look back and we'll say nobody was an expert in AI. And that means that you are not late. I welcome the opportunity to see what you'll invent of this world. And I really appreciate the time that you've given me. The major opportunities are robots, emotions, and agents. So thank you for your attention. I appreciate it.